Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Wish Infinite. In this video of Playwright with TypeScript series, I would be covering that how to upload single or multiple files using Playwright. So let's start. Let me first tell you that what is this upload file action. So here onto this site, if you will see, there is this section where this choose files button is appearing, right? And no file chosen is written. So here if you will click at this section, so one pop-up will appear where you can select that particular file. Okay, and you can click onto the open, so this file will get uploaded here. So this is the manual process. But if you want to do it with the help of Playwright, so in that case, we can select single or multiple files for upload using the locator.setInputFiles method. Locator.setInputFiles will upload single or multiple files on input element with type as file. To upload the multiple files, we need to pass them as an array to this setInputFiles method. So here is the syntax to upload the single file. First you need to give the locator, then you need to use this setInputFiles method, and inside this, if you want to just upload the single file, so as the string, you can pass the complete path with this file name dot extension of that particular file. Okay, and to upload the multiple files, you will have to provide an array inside this setInputFiles method, and then inside that array you would be passing the complete path with the file name dot extension for the different files. So let's say if you want to upload 3 files, so you would be providing that complete path with the file name dot extension as the string, and as it is an array, so you would be separating it with the help of comma. Now let's see the practical example that how we can upload single or multiple files in the Playwright. So for this particular video, I am going to use these two websites. So first site is this davidwas.name, where we have option to upload the file, and the second site which I am going to use is this the internethiroku.app.com. Now let's go to the VS Code. Here I have already created one TypeScript file inside this tests folder with the name practice upload file.spec.ts, and inside this TypeScript file I have imported the test from this Playwright test module and created these two test blocks, where inside the first test block we have title as practice file upload, and then as the second parameter I have given this anonymous function where we are using this page fixture, and inside the anonymous function I've used this page.goto method to go to this particular site which is davidwells.name, and into the second test block I've given the title as practice files upload 2 as the first parameter, and the second parameter is anonymous function where we are using the page fixture. Okay, and inside the anonymous function, I am going to this particular site, which is the internethiroku.app.com with this page.goto method. So now let's first work on to this first test block. So here, as we are using this particular site, so here onto this site, if you will see, this choose file section is there, right? So let me inspect this particular element. So here we are able to see the input as the HTML element, okay? And its type is file. So that's what I mentioned into the second point, right? Here, the locator.setInputFiles will upload file or the multiple files onto the input element with type as file. Okay, so the same thing you are able to see here. So HTML tag is input and it is having a type attribute and its value is file. So onto such type of elements, if you will click, you would be able to see that pop-up where you can choose the file, okay, and it will get uploaded. So now first, let's see how we can upload a single file here. So manually if you will perform, we have already seen, we will have to click here, we will have to choose that particular file, and then we will have to click onto the open, or you can directly double click here, so this file will get uploaded here, right? But if you want to perform the same action using the Playwright, so in that case we would not be clicking onto this particular element. So here let me first create the locator for this element. Okay, so this is the input element and here we are able to see this ID, so let's use this ID here to generate the locator. So after opening this particular link, we need to again use this await page.locator method I am going to use to create the locator, and inside the locator method I am going to give the CSS selector where I would be generating CSS selector using the ID which I have just copied. So here we can give double quotes or single quotes, and then here we can give hash and then that ID value which I have copied. Okay, so this is the CSS selector. By this we would be able to locate that particular element. Okay, about the CSS selector, I have already talked into my previous video. If you have not watched that video, I would recommend you to watch that video. I will provide the link of that video into the description, or you can click onto this I button at top right corner to access that particular video. Now let's continue. So here we have already got the locator, and then we need to use this set input files method. So here you need to type this set input files. And inside the set input files method, we need to pass the string, and this string will contain the complete path of that particular file with the file name dot extension. So here I have already created one folder which is to-upload, and inside it I have put some dummy files here which I would be uploading. So for now we are seeing that how we can upload the single file. So let's pick one of the file. Okay, let's pick this file1.txt. Okay, and here if you will right click, so you would be able to see this copy path or copy relative path option, right? You can take any of the path. If you use this copy path, so it would be taking the absolute path from the root. And if you use this copy relative path, so it would be taking the path relative to this particular location, right? So usually we keep the required files inside the project folder only. And in that case, it is better to take the relative path. Let's say if you are keeping the file outside the project folder, so in that case, you can take the absolute path. So now let's right click and click onto this copy relative path. Okay, and inside this set input files method, I will put this double quotes. Okay, any single quotes or the backticks also you can put. And here we can pass that particular path. And here, if you want to use this backslash, so in that case, you will have to put the double backslash like this. Okay, or you can simply use this forward slash, right? So from this particular folder, it is going to upload this file1.txt to our site. Now let's execute the script. So here it will open this particular link, and then it will upload this file1.txt to this site, right? So here we are able to see this file1.txt. So if you want to give the assertion, you can use this expect method, right? Expect then this locator dot to have text, and then we can verify this particular text, right? So you can try giving the assertion for your practice. Okay, so this is how we were able to upload the single file. Now let's see how we can upload the multiple files. So now the first question is that where we can upload the multiple files. So here into the site, if you will see, we have this input as the HTML tag, right, with the type equals to file, right? So see, this element is getting highlighted. Okay, and here inside this input HTML tag, if you will see, we have this multiple property, right? And if this multiple property would be there, so in that case, you would be able to upload multiple files here. So if you will click onto this choose files, so here you can select the multiple files by pressing the control key, and then you can select the multiple files. Here I have selected these 3 files, and then I can click onto this open. So see, all 3 files got uploaded here. So here it is mandatory to have this multiple property, then only it will allow to upload the multiple files here. Let me show the second side. So here if I will inspect this particular element, so here we are able to see this input as the HTML tag, okay, with this type equals to file. But here we are not able to see this multiple property, right? So if you will click onto this choose file, so here if you will press this control button, and if you will try to select the multiple files, it will not allow itself. So now let's see how we can upload the multiple files onto this particular site where we are able to see the multiple with this input HTML tag, okay, with this type equals to file. So to upload the multiple files, what you need to do, you need to use the same method. So first we need to give this await, and then this locator, right? And after the locator, we need to give this dot, right? And then set input files method, the same method we need to use, right, which we used to upload the single file. But inside this particular method, we need to pass an array this time to upload the multiple files. So here by putting this square brackets, we can pass an array, and here we can pass the multiple string inside this particular array, which will contain the complete path with the file name dot extension. So like this, you need to give the string within an array, right? So let me copy this first file path with the name .txt, right? So this is the first file. Now to give the second file, we need to put the comma, and here let's right click onto this file to .xlsx, copy relative path, okay, and then you can paste it here inside the quotes, right? And here we need to change it to /, right? And now let's take this third file, right click, copy relative path, put comma after the second value, and here put the quotes, and inside it paste that particular string. And this time let's use the double backslash, right? So any option you can use. So here it will upload all these three files to this locator, right? And it is not mandatory to have same type of files. See here I have taken first file, which is text file, second is the XLSX file, and the third file is docs file, right? So it depends. Let's say in your case that element only accepts the image file, so in that case you will have to upload the same type of image files only. But here it is allowing us to upload any type of files, so that's why we have given it like this. So now let me comment out this line, okay, where we were uploading the single file. Let me put the comment also to upload the single file. Okay, and here this code is to upload the multiple files, right? So let me put this comment also, so it would be helpful for your reference. So here we can put this to upload multiple files. Okay, now let me execute the script. Let me first close this browser, and once I click onto this run button, so it will open this particular link, and then it will upload all these three files. So see here we are able to see all the three files got uploaded. If you want to put an assertion to check that all these three files got uploaded here or not, so that you can do. For now I'm just uploading it. Now there is one more case. Let's say you have uploaded the file, but if you want to remove it, so for that what you will have to do? So for that we are going to use the same method, but we are going to pass an empty array to remove all the files, right? So here we need to give this page dot locator, and then we need to pass the same CSS selector. So inside the quotes we need to put hash and that ID value, right, to give the CSS selector. Okay, and then we are going to use the set input files method, and inside it I am going to pass an empty array. So what it will do, it will remove all the uploaded files from that element. So here first we are uploading the multiple files. You can also upload the single file, and then to remove it we are just using this set input files method with the blank array, which will remove all the files. So previously when we executed the script, it got stopped at this point, right, where all the files got uploaded, but now we would be able to see that all the files got removed after uploading. So let me put a debug point so that we would be able to see, otherwise it is going to be too fast. We would not be able to see that files got uploaded and then got removed. Okay, and now let me run this test into the debug mode. So here we can click onto this debug test. So here it is again opening the link. It uploaded all the files and then it got paused at this debug point. Now here let me step over. So what it will do, it will remove all these uploaded files, right? So once I step over, so see all the files got removed from here. If you want to put an assertion to check if no file selected is appearing, that you can do. Now let me continue. So see this test got passed and it removed all the files which we uploaded into this line number 6, right? Here we uploaded it and here we removed all the files. If the single file is there, it will remove that single file only. So now here we saw that element should have this input as the HTML tag with type equals to file. Okay, then only we would be able to upload the files using this set input files method. But what if this input HTML tag is not there with this type equals to file? So let me show you that example first. So now if you come onto this particular site, which is the internetherokuapp.com, and if you click onto this particular box, right? So here if I click, I would be able to see this pop-up where I can select the file and click onto this open. So this file will get uploaded. Okay, but let me inspect this particular element. So if I inspect this element, I am able to see this div. Okay, so this time this input HTML tag itself is not present. And here, if you will use that set input files method, your test script will get failed. So first, let me use this set input files method to show you that this particular test script will get failed. So let me first create the locator for this element, which is div. Okay, so here we can use this ID to generate the locator using the CSS selector. So here inside this test script file, I'm going to use this second test block where I have already given this page.goto with this the internetherokuapp.com site, right? So it will open this particular link. And then we need to use this await page dot locator method. Okay, and inside it, I'm going to pass the CSS selector. So here we need to put the quotes and then hash, and then we are going to provide that ID value, right? So this is the locator. Okay, and on this, if you use this set input files method, okay, so let's use this set input files, and here let's pass the same value to upload this file 1, right, which is there inside this to upload folder. Okay, so now let me execute this second test only for now. So here see, it has opened this particular link, but here with this execution we are able to see this error. So here our execution got failed and we are able to see the error that node is not an HTML input element. So that's what we saw. If your element is not the input HTML element with the type equals to file, we would not be able to use this set input files method. But still we want to upload the file. So what we will have to do? So in that case, we are going to use the listeners. So let me show it to you how we can use the listener to upload this particular file where the input HTML element is not there, right? So here, let me first remove this set input files method. And here what we are going to do, we are going to click onto this particular element. So we will come here and then we will click onto this element, which is div, right? And as soon as I click, this pop-up is going to get opened, right? So let's click onto this element. So after the locator, which we have already generated, we need to give this click. Okay. So now it is going to open that pop-up. But this is the Windows pop-up, right? So here we would not be able to perform any action, right? But here into the script, what we can do, we can provide a listener. And how we can provide the listener? So before performing the action, we need to provide the listener. So here, to provide the listener, what we need to give? We need to give this page dot, and then we are going to wait for this event. And then inside this wait for event method, we need to pass this event, right? And in our case, what would be the event? It is going to be the file chooser. Okay. So here, if you will put the codes, you would be able to see all the events, right? And in our case, this is the event, right? For which we are going to wait. So here we are using this page fixture dot and then wait for event method. And then inside it, we are providing the event for which we are going to wait for. And then we are going to get this inside a variable, right? So here we can use this const and then the variable name. So here I can give the file name as file chooser promise, right? Any name you can give. Okay. I'm just adding this suffix as promise just to remember that this particular expression is going to return the promise, right? So here, if you will mouse over onto this wait for event, here you would be able to see it is going to return the promise, but here we are not using the await keyword, right? So that's why we are going to get the promise, right? Which we are going to save inside this variable. So now what is going to happen? So here, as soon as we start the execution, this expression, which is page.wait for event, with the event is file chooser, is going to get executed initially only. And as this is the listener, it is going to wait for that file pop-up to come. And then once we proceed with our execution, and here, as soon as this script click onto this element, right? So here into the application, it will click here. And as soon as our script click onto this element, we are going to get this file pop-up. So here into the script, this listener was waiting for that file pop-up to come, right? And as soon as this file pop-up come, so our execution will go to the next line, right? So after this particular line, we need to give this await and then this variable name, right? Where we have got the promise. So with this await, we are going to wait for this particular promise to get resolved. Okay. And here let's get this particular value inside a variable. So here we can put this const and then any variable name. So here I'm giving the file chooser result, right? Any name you can give equals to. And then I'm going to use this particular variable to upload the files. So here what we need to give? We need to give the await and then this variable name, which is file chooser result, which we have given. Any ABCXYZ, any name you can give, but it should be meaningful, right? And then we need to put the dot and then we are going to use this set files method. So previously we have used the set input files method to upload the files, but here we need to use this set files method And inside this set files method, we need to pass the string which will contain path with the file name dot extension, right? So now let's upload this third file, which is file3.docs. So right click here and then click onto this copy relative path and paste that value inside the quotes. Okay. And here let's use this /. So here, once I start the execution for this test, what will happen? So this particular expression, which is page.wait for event, and what is the event? So the event is file chooser is going to get executed initially only, and it will keep on waiting for this file pop-up to come, right? And then our site will open, right? And then what we are doing, we are clicking onto this element, which is div element, right? So as soon as we click onto this particular element, we are going to get that file pop-up. And as soon as we get the file pop-up, this particular listener is going to return us the promise, because it is able to get that particular file pop-up, right? So here we will get that promise, okay? And then it is going to move further with the execution, and then it will come to this particular line where we were waiting for that particular promise to get resolved, right? So this promise will get resolved here, okay? And then we will get the value inside this variable, which is file chooser resolved, right? Any name you can give. And using this variable, what we will do, we will be using this set files method, okay? And inside this particular set files method, we can pass the string of that particular path with the file name dot extension, right? So this is to upload the single file, and this set files method is going to return the promise. So that's why we have used the await here. So now let me start the execution. Let me first close all the browsers which are already open, right? And then once I start the execution, it will open this particular link, and then it will be able to upload this single file, right? So see, the file got uploaded automatically, right? We are not able to see that pop-up, but at the backend, what happened? It clicked onto this particular element, that pop-up came, and as soon as this pop-up came, we got the promise through this particular listener. Here we waited for that particular listener, and then using this particular variable, we use this set files method to upload the single file. So we are not able to see that pop-up, but at the backend, it automatically handled that pop-up and it selected the specific file. And now if you want to upload the multiple files, so for that you need to use the array. So previously with the set files method, we have used the array. So in the similar way, we need to give the array, and here you can pass multiple files with the file name and the extension to upload them. So here, let me copy this particular part. Okay. So here inside the array, we are passing the different string which are separated by comma. So it is the complete path with the file name dot extension, right? So let me again do the execution. Let me close all the Playwright browsers, and once I do the execution, it will upload all these three files. So see, it started the execution and it uploaded all the files. If you want to put the assertion, that also you can do. For now, I'm only focusing on to the uploading of the file or the multiple files, right? So that's it for this particular video. Let me give you the quick recap. So here we saw this upload file action is the action where clicking onto the element, we will get this file chooser pop-up, okay, where we can choose the file to upload it. And for such elements, we would be able to see input as the HTML tag with type equals to file. And if you want to upload the file here for such type of elements, so for that, first you will get the locator, okay, like this, you need to get the locator, and onto that, you need to use this set input files method to upload a single file. And here with the HTML element, if you are able to see this multiple property, so in that case, you would be able to upload the multiple files. So to upload the multiple files, you are going to use the same set input files method. But here with this method, we are going to pass an array with the different values of the file which we want to upload. And if you want to remove all the uploaded file, so in that case, you need to pass the empty array inside this set input files. So this was the one way where we were able to see the HTML element as the input with this type equals to file. But what if this element is not there? So here we saw that div element is there, but on clicking onto this div element, we were able to see this file chooser pop-up. So in that case, we have used the listener where on clicking onto that particular element, we waited for this particular pop-up to come. And as soon as that pop-up came, we got the promise. And here into the next line, we have used this await and then that particular variable where we have received the promise. Okay, so here we waited for that particular promise to get resolved. And then with this variable, where this promise got resolved, we have used this set files method where we can give single file name as the plain string or the multiple files name within the array to upload those particular files. And here one more thing. So it is not necessary that you would be able to see this choose file, right? So see here we were not able to see that choose file, but it was opening that file chooser, right? And here if you will see this side also, so see here we are not able to see this choose file option like this, right? But here if you will click onto this particular button, you would be able to see that file chooser pop up, right? This file pop up. So if I will inspect onto this particular element, so see here still we are getting that input HTML tag, but we are not able to see that choose file. So it depends, right? It is not necessary that this choose file will appear, then only we would be able to see that file chooser pop up, right? So yeah, that's it from mine. You can click onto the first card to go to the next video. You can click onto the second card to access the whole Playwright tutorial playlist. And stay tuned for my upcoming videos. If you have any comments, questions or doubts, you can let me know into the comment section below. Please like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much. Have a great day.